The man slowly opened his eyes. At first, he saw nothing but white light. It was soft, not painful, but strange. His head felt heavy, and his body felt weak. A quiet sound filled the room. A low hum, like machines breathing. He tried to move his fingers, but they barely responded. Am I alive? He wondered silently. The last thing he remembered was fire. His ship shaking, alarms screaming. Then darkness. Now he was here. Somewhere clean, warm, and silent. He turned his head slightly. That was when he saw her. She was standing beside the bed. Tall and slender. Her skin had a soft blue glow. Her eyes were large and dark, reflecting the light around them. She was not human. Fear rushed through him. His heart beat faster. Every story he knew about aliens filled his mind. He tried to speak, but his throat was dry. Only a weak sound escaped his lips. The alien noticed immediately. She stepped closer, slow and careful, as if she did not want to scare him. It is okay, she said softly. Her voice was calm, almost gentle. You are safe now. He stared at her in shock. She spoke his language. Not perfectly, but clearly enough. Where am I? He finally asked. Each word felt like a struggle. You are aboard a medical station, she replied. You were found drifting in space. Before he could ask more, she smiled. It was not a cold or strange smile. It was warm, almost human. Then she giggled softly. A quiet sound, full of emotion. There is something you should know, she said. He felt uneasy. Something about her tone made his chest tighten. What is it? He asked. She looked down at his hand. Then back at his eyes. You were holding my hand, she said gently. He froze. That is not possible, he replied quickly. I do not remember anything. She nodded. You were unconscious, she said. For a long time. He looked at his own hand. It rested on the bed, weak and thin. He could not imagine it holding anything. When your pain increased, she continued. You reached out. Her voice became quieter. As if you were searching for someone. The room felt smaller. The machines hummed louder. His heart beat faster again. I tried to pull away, she admitted. At first, I was afraid. She paused. Then smiled again, softer than before. But your grip was gentle, she said. You did not hurt me. You only held on. He swallowed hard. Confusion filled his mind. He had never touched an alien before. Not in training. Not in stories. Not even in dreams. Why are you telling me this? He asked. Because, she said. No human has ever done this before. Her eyes shined with something he could not understand. Curiosity. Wonder. Maybe even respect. Outside the room, unseen eyes were watching. Listening. Recording every word. The universe had been watching humans from a distance for a long time. But now, everything was about to change. And it all started with a simple human touch. The man lay quietly on the bed. His mind felt slow, but his thoughts were racing. An alien medical station. Found drifting in space. Nothing about this felt real. He looked around the room again. The walls were smooth and curved. Lights moved gently like breathing. Machines floated instead of standing on the floor. This is not human technology, he thought. The alien nurse noticed his eyes moving. She understood his fear. Many species reacted the same way. "Do not worry," she said calmly. "This place is for healing, not harm." He took a slow breath. "Where is my ship?" he asked. Her expression changed. Just a little, but enough for him to notice. "Your ship did not survive," she said carefully. "It broke apart near a dead star." The words hit him hard. His chest felt tight. That ship was his home. His crew. His mission. "I was alone," he whispered. "Yes," she replied. "You were the only life sign we detected." She moved closer to a nearby panel. Images appeared in the air. A broken human ship. Twisted metal floating in darkness. "Our patrol found you," she continued. "You were badly injured. Your body temperature was unstable. Your heart was failing." He closed his eyes. He should have died out there. Cold and forgotten. "Why save me?" he asked. "Humans are not welcome in most systems." The nurse hesitated. "That is true," she said. "Humans are considered unpredictable. Strong. Dangerous." She paused. "Some believe humans feel too much." He gave a weak smile. "That does not sound dangerous." "To us, it is," she replied honestly. She explained that most alien species were trained to control emotion. Feelings were seen as weakness. Touch was rare. Comfort was unnecessary. "When we brought you here," she said, "many wanted to keep you isolated. Or worse," he added quietly. She did not deny it. "You were monitored closely," she continued. "Every reaction, every breath." He felt a chill. Even while unconscious. He had been watched. "But something happened," she said. "Something we did not expect." He opened his eyes again. Looking directly at her. "What happened?" he asked. She looked at him for a long moment. As if deciding how much to say. "While you were unconscious," she began, "your body showed signs of stress. Pain responses beyond normal limits." She raised her hand slightly. "You reached out?" The memory still confused him. "I do not remember," he said. "That is what makes it important," she replied. She explained that humans reacted even without awareness. That their need for connection was deeper than thought. Deeper than fear. "When you touched me," she said, "your vitals improved." His heart rate slowed. His breathing became steady. His pain lessened. "This should not happen," she said. "Not according to our science." He felt something stir inside him. Pride. Sadness. Hope. "And the others?" he asked. "The ones watching?" Her eyes shifted to the walls. "They noticed," she said. "And they are concerned?" "Concerned about what?" he asked. She leaned closer and lowered her voice. "They are afraid." "Afraid of me?" "Afraid of what humans represent," she answered. Outside the room, alien leaders reviewed the data. Heartbeats. Neural patterns. One simple human action changing everything they believed. And the man, still weak and confused, had no idea that his survival was already becoming a debate that could shape the future of humanity. The man stayed silent for a long moment. His eyes fixed on the ceiling above him. Trying to understand what the nurse had just said. Holding an alien's hand. While unconscious. While close to death. It did not feel real. "You said my body changed," he finally spoke. "How?" The alien nurse stepped closer to the bed. Her movements were careful and slow. as if she still feared crossing an invisible line. When humans feel pain, she explained, they do not only fight it. They search for comfort. She touched a panel near the bed. A soft image appeared in the air. Lines, numbers, and symbols moving gently. This is your body during surgery, she said. He saw the data. His heart rate was fast. Unstable. Close to failure. Here, she continued. This is the moment you reached out. The lines changed. Heart rate slowed. Breathing became steady. Pain signals reduced. His eyes widened. All because of a hand, he asked. Yes, she answered softly. She looked at her own hand. Long fingers, not human at all. Yet something about them felt familiar now. At first, I thought it was a reflex, she said. A dying response. She paused. But then you squeezed gently. Not hard. Not in fear. But as if asking someone to stay. I tried to pull away, she admitted. My species avoids touch. We see it as dangerous. Her voice lowered. But your grip was not a threat. He listened closely, feeling something heavy in his chest. You did not grab, she continued. You held. That word stayed in the air. Held. You did not know who I was, she said. You could not see me. But you trusted me. That scared her more than violence ever could. For the first time, she said slowly, I wondered if we were wrong about humans. He turned his head to look at her. You were afraid of us, he said. Yes, she replied honestly. We are taught that humans destroy. That they conquer. That they feel too much. She met his eyes. But no one told us that humans comfort. The room felt warmer somehow. Quieter. He swallowed. I did not choose to do that, he said. I was not awake. That is why it matters, she answered. She explained that conscious actions could be lies, but unconscious ones showed truth. A species' true nature. When your mind was silent, she said, your instinct reached for connection. Outside the room, other aliens watched the recording again. And again. They saw a fragile human. Broken body, failing heart. Still choosing closeness over fear. This confused them deeply. One of the observers spoke. If humans bond even in death, what happens when they are strong? Back inside the room, the nurse stepped closer. This time without fear. You changed our science, she said. Our understanding. He gave a weak smile. I was just trying to survive. Maybe, she said. But you also showed us something else. She reached out slowly. Not touching him. Just close enough. That humanity's greatest strength, she said, is not its weapons, but its need to hold on to others. Somewhere deep within the station, a decision was forming. Not about one human, but about an entire species. And it all began with a single unconscious touch. Far from the medical room, beyond the soft lights and quiet machines, a large chamber filled with shadows and glowing symbols. The alien council was watching. Tall figures stood in a circle, their eyes fixed on floating screens, showing the human's body, his heartbeat, his hand reaching out. Silence ruled the room. This should not be possible, one of them said. Emotional bonding during unconsciousness violates all known behavior. Another voice replied. Humans are unstable. This only proves they are dangerous. The images replayed again. The moment his fingers closed gently around the nurse's hand. The sudden improvement in his condition. Dangerous, a third voice said slowly. Or powerful? The word echoed. Powerful. Back in the medical room. The man felt the change in the air. Though he could not see it. Something beyond the walls was moving. The nurse stood very still. Her posture tense. She had been summoned. I must go, she told him softly. They are calling for me. Am I in trouble? He asked. She hesitated. Not yet, she answered. But you may be. Those words stayed with him as she turned and left the room. The doors closed silently behind her. And for the first time since waking, he was alone. Minutes passed. Or maybe hours. Time felt strange on the station. Outside, the council questioned the nurse. Why did you allow physical contact? One demanded. I did not allow it, she replied calmly. He reached for me. And you did not stop it. At first, I tried, she said. But his response was not hostile. Emotion clouds judgment, another voice warned. Emotion saved his life, she answered. That caused unrest. Low sounds of disagreement filled the chamber. Our laws exist for a reason, a leader said. Humans have caused wars. Entire systems burned because of them. Yes, the nurse replied. But they also rebuild. She showed them the data again. Not just the moment of touch. But the patterns. The changes. The proof. This human did not fight us, she said. He trusted us. Trust. Another dangerous word. The council fell silent. They had feared humans for generations. Stories passed down like warnings. Now one fragile survivor was challenging all of it. Back in the room. The man stared at the ceiling, wondering if this was how it ended. Not with fire or battle, but with quiet judgment. Suddenly, alarms rang softly. Not loud, but serious. His heart rate changed. Machines responded instantly. Elsewhere, a voice spoke. If humans can influence us without intent, what happens when they try? The nurse felt fear for the first time. Not fear of humans, but fear of losing something important. He is not a weapon, she said firmly. He is proof. Proof of what? The council asked. That humanity is more than its past. The debate reached its edge. A decision was close. One path meant isolation. Study. Control. The other meant contact. Risk. Change. Back in the medical room. The human's hand twitched slightly. As if reaching out again. Even in uncertainty. And the universe held its breath. Waiting to see if fear would win. Or if compassion would change everything. The medical room was quiet again. But the silence felt heavy. As if something important was about to happen. The man's eyes opened fully this time. Not confused. Not lost. But aware. His body still felt weak. Yet his mind was clear. The door slid open smoothly. And the alien nurse returned. Her expression unreadable. They are coming, she said softly. The council wants to see you. He took a slow breath. If this is about punishment, he said, I do not blame you. She looked at him in surprise. Why would you say that? Because, he replied. My kind does not have a clean history. Her eyes softened. That is why they are unsure. Moments later, the walls changed. The room opened into a larger chamber, filled with towering alien figures. Watching him closely, he felt very small. One human, broken and alone, facing a species that could decide his fate. A voice echoed through the chamber. "Human," it said. "Explain your actions." He swallowed. "I do not remember holding anyone's hand," he said honestly. "But I know why I would do it." The council waited. "When humans are afraid," he continued, "we look for something real. Someone who stays." He turned his head slightly toward the nurse. "Pain makes us honest," he said. The council scanned him. Lights moved across his body, reading his thoughts, his emotions. No lies were found. "You admit emotional dependency," one voice said. "Yes," he replied calmly. "We survive because we do not face pain alone." A ripple moved through the chamber. This was not the answer they expected. The nurse stepped forward. "He speaks truth," she said. "Our systems confirm it." Another voice asked, "If humans bond so easily, does that not make them weak?" The man shook his head slowly. "It makes us strong," he said. "Because we protect what we care about." Silence followed. The council reviewed more data. Human history. Wars. Loss. Recovery. Again and again, humans fell and stood back up. Together. "This human did not resist us," a leader said. "He thanked us." "Gratitude is not a survival trait," another replied. "It is," the nurse said firmly. "It is why he lived." The council turned to her. "You are changed," one observed. "Yes," she answered. "And so are we." The human felt his strength fading. But he held on. Not with his hands, but with his words. "If you fear us," he said quietly, "then let us show you who we are." The chamber went still. Finally, the highest voice spoke. "Human," it said. "You will not be harmed." The man exhaled slowly. "We will observe," the voice continued. "Learn. And reconsider our judgment." It was not full trust. But it was a beginning. The nurse looked at the human. Hope shining in her eyes. Humanity had not won with weapons, or force, or fear. It had won with honesty, and the simple truth, that even in darkness, humans reach for one another. Time passed quietly on the alien station. Not measured in hours or days, but in changes. The human healed slowly. His body grew stronger with each cycle. His mind clearer. The alien council continued to observe him. Not from fear now, but from curiosity. They watched how he spoke to the nurse. Always calm. Always thankful. Even for small things. He thanked her for water. For rest. For simply staying nearby. This confused many of them. Among the stars, gratitude was rare. The nurse stayed with him often. More than required. She no longer hid her presence. One day, she asked, "Why do humans say thank you so much?" He smiled weakly. "Because tomorrow is never promised," he said. "And kindness should be noticed." That answer was recorded. Shared. Discussed. Slowly, the station changed. Other aliens began to enter the room. At a distance at first. Watching. Learning. None of them were harmed. None were threatened. The human spoke when spoken to. listened when corrected, and showed patience even in pain. The council met again, this time without anger. The human does not seek control, one said. He seeks connection. That may be more dangerous, another replied. Or more powerful, the nurse answered. A final decision was made. Not loudly, not with ceremony, but with purpose. Humans would no longer be marked as hostile by default. Contact would begin. Carefully. The human was informed first. You are free to return to your space, the council told him. He felt relief. But also something else. Sadness. I would like to say goodbye, he said. The nurse came to his side as the transport prepared. You changed us, she said quietly. He shook his head. I only survived. No, she replied. You reminded us what it means to care. For a moment, neither spoke. Then, slowly, she reached out her hand. Not out of fear. Not out of duty. But by choice. He looked at it. Then gently placed his hand in hers. This time, he was awake. No machines reacted. No alarms sounded. Only two beings, from different worlds, sharing a simple human act. When the transport doors closed, the nurse stood watching. For the first time in her life, she felt loss. And hope. The human ship disappeared into the stars. Carrying more than one survivor. It carried a message. That strength did not always come from power. That fear could be changed. That even in a vast and cold universe, humanity would be remembered. Not for the damage it caused, but for the hands it reached out. And somewhere on an alien station, a nurse smiled softly, knowing that the universe would never see humans the same way again.